Hello and welcome to Center Ice Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and today I am not joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein. Instead, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Tyler Dresbach. Tyler, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. This is fun.
Absolutely. So, of course, for you guys, Tyler is a new voice, so I'll introduce him a little bit just so you guys can get to know him a little bit, and then we'll go through a more formal interview so you can learn even more about him. So, I have mentioned him briefly on the show a couple times before, but for those who don't remember, and obviously didn't go into too much detail, Tyler and I went to college together in Indiana and lived down the hall from each other during my freshman year, which was his senior year. And we kicked it off pretty quickly due to our mutual love for sports, and then quickly learned that each other had collected sports cards growing up. Obviously myself, hockey cards, and Tyler primarily collected baseball and basketball, but had an appreciation for my collection nonetheless since it was still sports cards. So throughout that school year, we were able to bond through cards, whether that be a mail day or breaking packs or boxes. I know you probably remember this too, but I bought a case of Heroes and Prospects for us to open up together. Had a grand old time doing that
Yes.
in your dorm room.
That was actually the first time I'd ever opened a case in my life.
Okay.
So that was very memorable.
Yeah, ripping hundreds of packs
Yes.
together in your dorm room. That was a lot of fun. After you graduated, obviously I was still in college, but we stayed in touch and saw each other from time to time since you actually lived in the same town. And then I think a year after that moved where you are now, about 20 minutes away from our college. So that allowed us to still kind of open the occasional box together and see each other here and there as well. So, and then fast forward to summer of 2019, and Tyler was actually the one to marry me and my wife. So that obviously added another meaningful experience to our friendship. And then, like I said at the top, I did mention Tyler in episode 26 because he opened the third box that I had of the Vezina collection. So you guys might remember that. So then turning to kind of the more formal interview section of the show, first question for you, Tyler. I know hockey obviously is not your primary sport, but you do appreciate it and loosely follow it here and there. So for our listeners, what team do you cheer for, and do you have any favorite hockey players?
Oh, yes. So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. So actually, I think was it 2000? The Jackets were founded? I think it might have been 2000, 2001.
Right around there. Yep.
Yeah, so obviously Rick Nash quickly became just every mediocre to quickly extreme Jackets fan.
Sure.
He was the guy. And I mean, I would still say, like, a lot of those early memories, especially in my childhood, of the Jackets just flirting with the playoffs. Kind of. Yeah. That was Rick Nash memory. So I'd have to say him in terms of choosing like an all-time.
Yeah.
But the last few years of also the Jackets kind of messing up some other teams' plans in the playoffs have been very fun, and kind of the Stanley Cup for at least Columbus fans.
Yeah.
On the outset, and I think it's been fun to kind of see at least the start of a franchise like that, because when they were founded, I was really young, and so a lot of the fans were just kind of like, oh, this is the cool new thing that we're kind of becoming a fan of. But now it's like those fans are having children, so it's become more of like
multi-generational.
Yeah. So it in my mind, it's still like the Jackets are just kind of like always the underdog, always like the team that doesn't have like the long history.
Sure.
But it's like it's slowly becoming something that's a bit more passed down, which is fun to see and be a part of that.
Yeah, obviously sweeping Tampa was a pretty big deal a few years ago.
That was the equivalent of the Stanley Cup for
Since you'll never ever get a Stanley Cup.
You could be right on that.
So then turning to the hobby, maybe just share a little bit about how you got involved with the hobby and what collecting looked for you at that point in your early childhood.
Yeah, I think it was about first grade or so. I got a few packs for Christmas from Santa Claus. And actually, it's funny just how fandom is started, because in that pack I got a Tim Duncan.
Okay.
It wasn't even his rookie card or anything. It was just a base Tim Duncan. And my dad said, "That's the best player you got." And so I was instantly just Tim Duncan fan. And that never really stopped. I mean, to this day, my Tim Duncan collection is probably the best collection piece that I have, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I think I maybe I have better Reds vintage and past players in terms of like quality of a card.
Sure.
But like that was kind of where I spent most of my childhood, was collecting Tim Duncan, and then the Cincinnati Reds also was a big part of that.
Yeah. So what would you say that during that time in your childhood that the hobby and collecting cards meant to you?
You know, I think the big thing was my brother and I were super into it together. So that bond that was created with my brother, honestly, it's like the same bond that you and I felt whenever we discovered that both of us were into trading cards. So it's such a significant part of my childhood, of like my relationship with my brother being weaved into how we collected. Whether it's just like us just trading base cards,
sure,
to going down to the local hobby shop, and had like Upper Deck did Friday night card nights there, and so we would open boxes with other guys who would come around, didn't even know them really, you know, and but like that's just how we grew up, middle school, high school, kind of doing that thing.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you're talking about Tim Duncan, and I know during your childhood, obviously you were in Ohio.
Yeah.
You know, and you were able to accumulate a nice little collection of LeBron rookie year cards as well. What can you tell me about those and how you acquired them?
Oh yeah, I often think I got really lucky. 03-04 was like my prime collecting year. If I could boil it down to a single year, that was when I got the most cards, and that just so happened to be LeBron's rookie year. So
D Wade and Chris Bosh. And,
yes, exactly.
Quite a few other good players.
Yeah, I actually probably the best box I ever opened was an 03-04 Bowman, and I got 2 LeBron parallels in it, a jumbo Carmelo Anthony rookie, and a Dwayne Wade autograph.
Wow.
Oh, and a Chris Bosh autograph, all in that same box.
Dang, that's crazy.
And I mean, today, if you were to resell that box, I mean, if you go on eBay and try to buy a 304 Bowman, they're thousands.
Yeah.
And I think that box is probably $100 or so. And
yeah.
it was, So I think I got kind of lucky collecting in there, and so I don't know how many LeBron rookies I have, but it's a substantial amount. Which, I mean, being in Ohio too, I was a Tim Duncan collector, but there was so much buzz around LeBron.
Sure.
Especially for so many Cavs fans around me, and I would say I'm also affectionately a Cavs fan as well.
Sure.
Just kind of by default. And the Spurs and Cavs have never really had much of a rivalry at all, so it's kind of fair game to cheer for both those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, obviously, you know, things have changed a little bit for you as far as collecting goes since your childhood. So, you know, what does your collecting kind of look like today?
Yeah, I actually started collecting more vintage Reds once I became married. So it was like, it kind of, in a way, I wouldn't say ruined it. But I started collecting a little bit more with like, okay, I don't want to just like dump money away right now.
Get stuff to get stuff. You want to be intentional.
Yeah, but like balancing that intentionality with something that also like sparks the joy and childlikeness that I think is so awesome about collecting cards, and even like especially into adulthood. So I actually got some of my dad's favorite players.
Okay.
Specifically collected some memorabilia from them. Well, not game use in the card memorabilia.
Sure.
Autographs from them. Some vintage stuff like Eric, you actually gifted me the 1909 T206 Reds card, which is something I always wanted, which is awesome. Now that's one of my favorite cards that I have in my collection.
That's an awesome card.
Yeah, I always wanted a T206 card because of the Honus Wagner.
Right.
Just to kind of participate a little bit in the history of that as much as I could.
Have a piece of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, us normal folk can't go after cards like that. That's for sure. You know, so you touched on it there a little bit, but you know, what would you say you actively collect today? Like, what are things that you chase after and look for?
Yeah, so the biggest thing would be the Reds. I getting some prospect rookies and autographs is probably the biggest thing that I've got in the last few years.
Okay.
And I feel kind of complete in terms of getting like the main Reds former players that I've looked for, but I kind of always have my eye out for those too.
Sure. You know, and you touched on it there with the T206 card, but I know you have an immense appreciation for the history of sports and kind of how card collecting can connect, you know, us today to past greats of the game and the history of the game, you know, and help us learn more about the history of sports too. You just want to talk a little bit about that aspect of collecting, how collecting ties us to the history of the game?
Yeah, I think it actually started for me when there was a children's book called Jackie and Me, where the kid in the story, he discovers he has a superpower of when he holds a card, he can go back to that time period. And then he got to, and the author kind of did the whole book series on that theme, and I remember being captivated by that. I wonder if a lot of listeners also remember those stories, because I'm sure for the card collector it was like that was just the best reading we could possibly find. And I remember being captivated by the history of something then, and even to this day. I mean, I'm reading a book right now on one of the men who resisted the Nazi regime in World War II and ended up being executed for it. So just things like that, where you can, you know, it's a thing that connects you to generations, and especially generations of family members too, which is why I think even in my adulthood, I became attracted to wanting to collect my dad's favorite players. And then so like when I got them, like my dad and I were able to connect over that, and that was a special thing between us anyway. So it kind of sparks a little joy in you that you maybe aren't able to get just by learning about something, but actually participating in it.
Absolutely. This might be a hard one to answer, but what would you say you enjoy most about collecting cards?
I think it's the joy. I think there's something about the mystery of what something might be, whether it's, you know, just opening packs or the participation of like, oh, I get to be included on this, which, you know, for a lot of us today now, it could be buying single cards, or even just trading for them. But it's still like the anticipation and the joy that you experience by being a part of something that's a little bit bigger than yourself. I think that's something that we all need, and cards is one way to do that, which is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say that there is a favorite hobby experience for you that stands out?
I thought about this before, because I wonder if you're going to talk about that a little bit. It was actually one of those upper deck card nights, and so I was pretty young. I can't remember what the game was called. I don't know if you've done this, where you go in on a box with multiple others, 4 or 5 others, say,
and then pack wars.
Yeah, and then you choose a stat on the back per pack. Is it? Yeah, and then the winner of that gets all the base cards in that pack. Yeah. This pack war that we were doing, we did, if you pull a memorabilia, you got to keep that. And I don't remember how young I was, but I didn't have a memorabilia at that point in my collecting life. And I got a Kurt Warner game used football piece.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I just so distinctly remember as a kid just being so overjoyed at being able to have a piece of a football that Kurt Warner had thrown. Yeah. Because I think like he had been in he had been in 2 Super Bowls at that point. I think it might have been a few years after even. But yeah, I mean, everyone was so pumped about the pull. I had never seen anything like that. It was part of the lace was in it too. Wow. Like it was just one of the coolest things. I regret actually trading that card. I don't know why I did, because now it's like I wish I had that. But you know, hindsight, I didn't know that it would be a cherished thing as much as it was when I was just more so trying to gather things that I wanted. But
yeah, absolutely. So at this point, what would you say is your favorite card that you own, and why, and how you acquired it?
I would say probably the first Tim Duncan autograph I got, because I got it in a trade with my brother. So cool. the 2 things of I was collecting him mainly, and then just my brother and I mean, we would Saturday afternoons we just pull out our card collection and just go through it together and find things we could trade. But that was obviously a pretty substantial trade. So doing that together, I'd say there's some memories attached to that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Would you say at this point you have any collecting goals for the future, whether that be like specific cards you want to get, or like any sets you want to collect or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to get I want to do the autographed lineup of the Big Red Machine from 75, 76, the Reds World Series wins. That's probably I am about halfway.
Okay.
Right now, but I haven't pursued it in a bit. But
Sure.
it's still kind of on my mind.
Yeah, something to work toward.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So turning to hockey specifically a little bit here, did you ever give much thought to hockey cards before meeting me in college? And if not, how did your perspective of them change after that?
Yeah, I think I may have had just like a few packs of hockey cards. Because again, growing up in Columbus, like just hockey was new to us culturally. So I didn't really get into it. I didn't really get into watching hockey until about high school, college a little more. And then now I've watched more hockey probably than ever, but I'm a little bit more removed from collecting than I was in my heyday. Sure. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was how beautiful the memorabilia cards can be. I think baseball you can kind of get there a little bit. Like one of my favorite cards I have is Adam Dunn, who played for the outfield for the Reds in 2000s. It's a 4-piece memorabilia from him and autographed. And that to me, whenever I got that, I was like, this is just the best memorabilia card I could possibly have. And then I see your collection, I'm like, holy smokes! Like, first of all, you have the Blackhawks, like so many other teams too, with just amazing good memorabilia patches. And like I think the Cardinals are probably the only baseball team that are that impressive of a patch that you can get.
Sure.
But both of us don't speak of the Cardinals, so we're...
That's right. That's right. That's very true. Yeah. Don't tell my wife. But... Yep. No, absolutely. I know you don't really actively collect hockey cards, but would you say that there's a favorite hockey card in general, whether that be one that you've seen in person or just one that you know about?
Oh, you're in the game not in the game, sorry. What's the triple memorabilia set?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I think that's one of the more impressive collections. Like, decide I'm going to collect this set that I've seen. And it's because as an individual card, none of them are like overly impressive. Right. But the set itself, I think, is a gorgeous set. Yeah, I think deserves quite a bit of attention. But then also, I would like your Ovechkin shoelace. Yeah, that's card. Pretty cool. That's, I mean, that's pretty unique.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what attracted me to it. Just, he was earlier in his career, like kind of known for that, like using the yellow skate laces. So having part of that is really cool for sure. This one kind of just swings back to the hobby in general. Obviously, since COVID has started, the hobby has changed a lot. What are your thoughts about how the hobby has changed in the last year and a half?
Yeah, it's for the better, right? Yeah, I think the risk is always that it turns just into an investment piece, and that's the thing I know you and I both just want to be weary of. Like whenever articles you see and YouTube videos are more about what can you invest in right now, then I would say like the joy of collecting. It robs a lot of the youth and zeal from it. And plus, I mean, I gotta imagine there's better ways to invest. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely turn some things around. I think if you have some good foresight. But I would overall, I think it's for the best. But I haven't bought a box since COVID hit because of that.
Yeah, too expensive.
I mean, I'm used to being a Topps hobby box being $50 for me. Right. And I think I checked over Black Friday and like had them on sale for like $90, and I was like, you're guaranteed one game used in it. Like, I just I guess I just feel older in that respect, but that to me, I'm like,
it's a tough pill to swallow at that price point. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely agree with you as far as there's been a much larger focus on like what things are worth as opposed to what they are. So I mean, I think in a lot of ways that aspect of it has been dangerous and detrimental in some ways, but obviously having an influx of collectors and people even coming back to the hobby that had taken a break for a while, obviously that's a great thing for sure. So, and then kind of it could be related to that or it could just be something else. Do you have a hobby related hot take that you want to share?
I think it's one I may have heard on this podcast before actually, but I think grading cards needs to go way down.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not to the deficit of grading companies, because I think like PSA, especially in Beckett, like they're doing good things for the hobby in terms
Mm-hmm.
of putting a more concrete determination on how to judge a card.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's almost like the card isn't changing.
Right. Yep.
So I'd rather it be used for something where either like for preservation or to be able to say concretely, like, no,
Mm-hmm.
this is like the way that this card is
Mm-hmm.
because of
Mm-hmm.
these values that are determined by a party that's not us two, who are maybe trying to determine what it should be valued.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would love for it to be more so focused on rookie cards, vintage cards especially,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, 1-on-1s, that kind of thing. That's, you know, there's definitely plenty of ways that you can still preserve the card in good condition without sending in to get graded. Because I think, because you and I talked, I got a good stack of cards that I'm like, okay, these deserve a grade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Many of them LeBron rookies, Kobe Bryant rookies, Tim Duncan, but I just haven't sent them in because of the wait time with them and then the cost just skyrocketing.
Right.
So part of that is, well, I'm not necessarily looking to make them like investment pieces, because I like looking back at like that Kurt Warner card,
Mm-hmm.
like I regret that I got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so these rookies as well, I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm ready to get rid of them, so I'm not going to move forward with grading them quite yet.
Sure.
So we'll see if the grading landscape changes at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. No, that's funny you say. In our last episode, we actually answered. It was a Q&A episode, and we just talked about kind of that grading, trend and how things are going right now. And yeah, a lot of what you said is very similar to how I answered that question.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this point in time, collectors who have been collecting for a while, whether that's been straight through or just if you collected, probably mid 2000s or before, I feel like all of those people have a very similar outlook on grading.
Mm-hmm.
That like that's like what you said, that's kind of what it's meant for and how it should be used. And this new age of the hobby is kind of like just really changing it into something different. So yeah, it's been interesting to see, but yeah, I would definitely agree with you that I hope it kind of gets back to what it was kind of originally intended to be. So,
and I wonder if some more grading card companies popping up that seem to be getting a bit more credibility.
mm-hmm.
I wonder if that'll help even things. Maybe like like the number of graded
Mm-hmm.
cards might not go down.
Yeah.
But maybe the what we view as artificial
Mm-hmm.
value
Mm-hmm.
added to a card, maybe that'll kind of tame itself a little bit. But
yeah. No, that's a good point for sure.
yeah.
That's all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you'd want to add about your collecting experience or anything?
I would say I love that, even this podcast, but it seems like the way that you and Aaron approach it is definitely like for the collector, which I love, and that's something I mean, yeah, I'm not going to tell someone not to go collect even if they're wanting it to be investment pieces, because it's probably just good for the hobby in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say as soon as you lose that, then it's like it strips a lot of what the joy you can find in it is. So I love that.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of these listeners are in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You and Aaron are. So that's something I love and want to just keep encouraging, because there's a good way to never grow up, and I think the trading cards is a good way to do that.
That is a good way to do it. Very true. So transitioning into the next part of the podcast, we're going to open up the second box of Skybox Metal Universe that Chris Carlin had sent to Aaron and I. And I know, obviously, it's an exciting product. You guys know that from when it was on, I believe it was episode 41 that we opened it up and heard about it from Billy, the product manager that built it. But, obviously with Tyler having a background, collecting other sports, especially basketball, the Metal Universe, brand definitely speaks to him.
Yes.
I know when I offered that up as a possibility for the show today, you got pretty excited about that. So, as we get ready to open it, what do you remember about Metal Universe growing up, and what does that brand mean to you?
Yeah, actually, one of the bad memories I have of it is I feel like they were always a little bit more damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was the way that it was printed
Mm-hmm.
or not, but I'm excited to see if they maybe will have remedied that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the rookies being pretty cool always. I don't know if I don't have any good rookies of metal from what I remember, because I think they quit producing them just a little bit before.
Yeah, it's like late 90s.
Yeah. 0203 was a good draft class for the NBA, but before that there was Kobe Bryant's and Vince Carter's. So after that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't actually have any really great metal cards, but there was always something
Cool.
kids loved about them. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely true. Having a foil board being the card stock just makes it tough to have them in good shape. That is something that I would say that I've seen, as far as the base cards are typically pretty sharp with this iteration of it.
Okay, cool.
They do have, I don't know if you listened or watched that episode, but they have kind of like tribute inserts that are using the 97, 98 design that everyone knows and loves. And with the PMG parallels of those cards, those do run into chipping a little bit on the edges. And even just the normal PMGs too. So in a way, it's kind of cool that it still mimics that. But yeah,
it's more authentic that way, I guess.
Yeah. So that's a cool component. It does take you back. It is a really nostalgic product. Even just with various inserts. Skybox Metal Universe was done for hockey for a year or two in the mid to late 90s, but it was never really like as big of a deal in hockey as it was in other sports. So a lot of the inserts in this year's Metal Universe are inserts from other sports in Metal Universe, so you might recognize some of the insert designs and names and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That could be another hot take, I guess. What if card companies did less quality control, so that way you get more damaged cards, which makes the value of the mint cards go up?
That would be interesting. I mean, especially, I feel like I'm not super in tune with other sports hobbies right now, but at least within hockey, I think since the big boom of the last couple years, there's been a much larger focus on quality control, and people perceiving that Upper Deck doesn't do a good job of quality control and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that is due to the boom in the grading aspect of the hobby. So it's interesting, but I feel like a lot of people don't think that they do a good job, but they also don't really have any context of like what actually goes into quality control and the fact that someone is not looking at literally every single card that comes off the line. So,
right.
Yeah. So for those who do not remember the last episode, it is 15 packs within the box, 7 cards per pack. And you get 1 autograph per box, and then at least 1 numbered card. You can get multiple. I've seen quite a few boxes that do have multiple, so hopefully we'll beat the odds there. In the first box, we just got a purple parallel of one of the retro cards, which the purples are technically not PMGs, so really just my hope is that we just get a PMG regardless of the color. So I will let you do the honors, rip into the first pack, see what you get. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the rookie class. The big names are Kirill Kaprizov for the Minnesota Wild, Alexei Lafreniere, who's the guy on the box from the New York Rangers. Those are probably like the big two. Tim Stützle for the Ottawa Senators is another big one. So yep. So the first 5 cards are usually base cards, and then the last 2 are the good ones. Yeah. Hey, you start off with Ryan Zingle. Nice. There you go.
It's an all-star card?
Yep. So
that's base still, I think?
Yeah, it's a short print within the base set. I think they're 100 and above are rookies and all-stars. Yeah.
I assume these are the goalies.
Yes.
The inserts in.
Yep. So Tyler got an Intimidation Nation of Igor Shesterkin for the New York Rangers. So yeah, I know the Intimidation Nation was a set from back then that was really sought after, that people enjoyed. So yeah, cool what they did with those, focusing on the goalies' faces and kind of along with that the goalie masks, even though they really are just meant to be a close up of the goalies themselves. But they are really nice. Yeah,
that's cool. So let's see. Yeah, you'll probably have to help me with the names on.
Oh yeah,
because I only know the stars.
no problem. And of course, we'll just point out the notable stuff. We won't go through all the base. So in my pack, the second pack here, we've got an Alliance for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner.
Okay.
So that's probably one of the better ones to get from that set. And we got an All-Star of Frederik Andersen and a rookie of Jake Evans.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like the Alliance cards because if you look at them straight on, they kind of have just like a matte finish, but then if you move them around, it's like really rainbowy, really cool looking cards. We'll see. Who do you think's going to get the autograph? Who's going to get the numbered card?
I think I'm going to get the autograph.
Okay.
There's another one.
Nice. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you usually just get one Alliance per box, so getting two is interesting.
2 rookies?
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry, that's just one.
So rookie of Phil Kershev for the Blackhawks, which I appreciate. All-Star of Alex Pietrangelo, and then an Alliance for the Minnesota Wild, Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, which is kind of interesting because they bought out both of those guys over the summer, so they're both gone. But let's see here. And there are no memorabilia cards in the product, so it's just purely focused on the actual cardboard itself, which I like.
Yeah, that's actually something I thought I remembered, like never seeing a jersey card or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if that was just my not deep experience with the set. But
nope. So we've got our numbered card. It's a PMG red for the Dallas Stars of John Klingberg.
Nice.
And the numbering is 41 out of 100. So if you guys remember, and then also a rookie of Josh Norris and all-star of Seth Jones, which I'm sure you probably appreciate.
Yeah, there we go.
The PMGs 1 through 10 are green, that are essentially numbered out of 10, and then 11 through 100 are the red ones, meaning that there's 90 of them.
So there's one of these, one of the numbers in the box.
You get, yeah, you're guaranteed one numbered card per box, but I have seen boxes that have 2, so let's hope we do get another one. That's nice. Ovechkin base.
There we go.
Okay, so that's one of the retros you got there.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen that.
Very nice.
I haven't seen that before.
Got a tribute insert of Evgeny Malkin. And the really cool thing about those is it does use like the outer space kind of background too, which is really cool. So
yeah, I think I'm noticing this more with, I guess, I don't remember them using a ton of that background. I remember it more being like the metal look. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
Yeah.
Little change.
Yep.
I don't know any other sets that have the space look.
Yep. It is very unique for sure. No doubt about it. But even the design of just the base cards, I really like that too. I think it's a really sharp look. Definitely very metal-ish. Yeah. For sure. So let's see. There's another Seth Jones for you, who's now on the Blackhawks actually. Let's see here. We got another retro for the Edmonton Oilers, Leon Draisaitl. So that's a good one. Nice. Then a rookie for the Dallas Stars, Yoel Kiviranta, who he was a big performer in the bubble playoffs in the summer of 2020. So it's a good one. So what are your initial impressions of the cards?
They're in good condition.
That's good.
Yeah. So they fixed that. Or didn't fix it, depending if you like my idea of making them less quality.
Okay, there you go. There's a good one.
Yeah.
You got a net deposit for the Minnesota Wild, Kirill Kaprizov.
All-star and a rookie.
Nice. Oh, and a Kaprizov rookie card.
Yeah.
That's a great pack there for you. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think most people would say Kaprizov is the best rookie from that crop. So a rookie and an insert in the same pack. That's doing pretty well. Let's see here. We've got a Skybox Premium Prospects for the Vancouver Canucks, Olli Juolevi.
Oh, so that's a different look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, Skybox Premium, so it's not the metal. That's interesting. I threw that in.
Yep. And then a rookie of Peyton Krebs, all-star of Connor Hellebuck.
The Skybox Premium is kind of like the anti-Skybox Metal, actually. So it's funny that they threw that in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of variety with the inserts for sure. And I know when we first talked about the product with Billy, he was saying that they intentionally did not use everything Skybox in the product so that they can change it up for next year a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it'll be fun to see what comes in the future.
I like that. I mean, that's something I always liked about kind of like the Topps base, is that there's a good variety.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Feel free to try your shot with the names too. Some of them aren't that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's a cool one.
Yep, so that's one of the Hardware Heroes cards for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Chris Letang. You get one acetate insert per box.
Yeah, I remember those ones.
Yeah. I prefer these ones to the Alon cards. The Alons are really cool, but yeah, I just think like showing a guy hoisting the Stanley Cup is hard to beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I actually took the one that I had pulled in the first box and traded it for a Patrick Kane one from that set. So, okay. Oh, this is a really good pack. I can tell already. Holy cow. Okay, so we've got our autograph here, I believe. Yep. It is a Skybox Premium Prospects Red Auto for the Vancouver Canucks. Ole Ulevy again.
Nice.
And then right behind that, that's a huge...
Is that numbered?
No, they're not.
Okay, not the red.
They're not. This is a huge card. Like, this is a huge card. Like, in all seriousness. A retro PMG green, numbered out of 10, of Leon Draisaitl.
Oh.
That's a massive card. Numbered 8 out of 100, meaning it's 8 out of 10. So, yeah, that's a huge card.
Wow.
Like, and then a rookie of Michael DiPietro, not that it matters, but that's a huge card.
Man.
That's a huge card. Like, that's... And honestly, we're recording at Tyler's house. He still lives about a half an hour away from where we are now. I was thinking that in our first box, we didn't really get anything of note. So I was like, there's got to be something decent in that other box. Yeah. So there it is. That's a huge card. Like, that's massive.
Nice.
Without it being a 1/1, that's a huge card.
Are there 1/1s?
There are.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, Leon Draisaitl, I think most people would probably say is like a top 3 player in the NHL. So that is a huge card for sure. Wow. getting the autograph and that in one pack. Sorry to spoil the fun, because you're probably not going to get anything too good at this point, but that's a huge card, man. Okay, another net deposit there. Who you got?
Tim
Stützle. Nice.
I was going to say Stützle, so I was close.
Yep.
Then a rookie, Martin Kaut.
Yep, so Stützle is also one of the better rookies in the class for sure. He was 3rd overall in 2020.
Okay.
So, definitely a good one to get there. Hoping, I mean, there's really nothing more to ask at this point, but getting a Lafreniere rookie would be nice. I wouldn't mind. Got another net deposit. I like that one. Can't go wrong. Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers. Very nice. So this has been a really good box. Rookie of Philip Broberg, All-Star Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, that Draisaitl trumps anything else that can possibly happen at this point. So, yeah, those cards are so nice. I mean, just the whole card being all green is just so nice. And even, I mean, yeah, you can get the gold 1/1s, but being that it's the tribute, like, everyone remembers the green PMGs.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
Let's see, looks like you got another
premium prospect. Yeah. Nick Robertson.
Yeah, good name. Definitely one of the better, definitely a quality rookie, I would say. Not one of the big guns, but yeah, he's probably a top 10 rookie from the class, I would say.
Two more
packs. It does go kind of quick, but it's such a fun product.
Yeah.
I think we're still probably going to get another Intimidation Nation, and I'm trying to think what else. Maybe another Prospects, or maybe another Tribute, actually. Crosby base card. That's nice. Okay, we got a Tribute here, following the Stützle trend. Tim Stützle for the Ottawa Senators. Nice card. All-Star of Andrei Vasilevsky and a rookie of Kiefer Bellows. Yeah, this has clearly been the better box of the two, no doubt. No doubt. Though the autograph from the first box was actually a Blackhawks rookie, so
okay. Yeah,
I appreciated that, but yeah, didn't have a ton of value, but pulling a Blackhawks auto is obviously nice for me. But yeah, I'll take the Draisaitl over the Blackhawks autograph.
There's Draisaitl again.
Draisaitl base card, nice. Sergei Bobrovsky, your former Blue Jacket great.
He's number 2 there on my favorite hockey players, but
nice.
Another prospect.
Prospects. Kiefer Bellows again.
And another rookie.
Nice. Matthias Brome. Very nice. So that's the box break. I mean, man, like that. Even take out the Draisaitl, there were some really nice cards there. I mean, like we were saying earlier, since there's not memorabilia and you only get one autograph, you're really focusing on the inserts. So the fact that we did get quite a few quality names within inserts obviously was really nice. I mean, I'm just going back through the stack here, the Stützle tribute. Let's see, obviously the McDavid net deposits, that's a really nice one. Stützle net deposits. Kaprizov rookie card, not that it's an insert, but that's the best one you can get. Kirill Kaprizov net deposits. That was a really good pack that you had on that one for sure. The normal Draisaitl tribute, so maybe I should just go for the rainbow at this point. spend a few thousand to get the gold one if it's been pulled. No, I won't do that. Malkin tribute. Got the Klingberg PMG as well, so 2 PMGs within the box. A couple of Alliance cards. Yeah, so I mean that was a heck of a box.
Yeah,
I would say. What would you say stood out to you, whether it be a card or an insert set or anything that you enjoyed?
I think it's funny that they included that Skybox premium look as one of those inserts. But I mean, looking on the back of the box even here, there's a ton of different insert options. And then 2 of those 3 that are pictured we didn't even see.
Yep.
That.
Yeah, those
variety of it.
Yeah, I know we talked about those Platinum Portraits cards. We talked about those with Billy. I would love to see one of those in person. I don't know if you remember those cards growing up, but
I don't.
What they do is they literally laser etch out holes in the cards to create the player's face. So it's a 100% like die cut card to create the image. And Billy was saying that depending on the level of intricacy with each player, it can take like upwards of like a half an hour to make one card.
Wow.
So they're extremely tough pulls because of that. They don't make too many of them. They're 1 in 840 packs.
Okay, so I shouldn't have expected to see that one.
No, no, definitely not. And then with the Alon, you either get an Alon or a Hardware Heroes. So yeah, we were only going to see one of the acetates, and then the Championship Heroes, actually, not Hardware Heroes. But yeah, getting one of the Platinum Portraits was probably not going to happen. But yeah, those are awesome cards. I would love to even just see one in person one day for sure. But what would you say was the favorite card that you pulled yourself?
I mean, I love seeing Bobrovsky come across. I know that's just a base card.
Even if just a base card.
Just the good memories of those times.
Absolutely.
The Jackets doing well in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was a big part of that franchise for sure.
I think you pulled pretty much all the good ones.
Yeah. I guess we should have had me start and then you follow so that you could have hit the big stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, well. That's how it goes. Yeah. I really like the Intimidation Nation cards. I think they just look really sharp. Yeah, I mean, obviously my favorite was the Draisaitl, but yeah, I mean, even honestly, just like like when I open that pack, you can tell immediately like the autograph is in here and I got a green PMG. So that was just seeing that. It's like, okay, this is a good pack.
Yeah.
Like I said, as we were going, that was definitely the better box of the two, without question. Take out the Draisaitl, and it's probably more of an even comparison, but yeah, obviously that's the trump card for sure. I think that's really all I have. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd want to say about the box break or anything else that we didn't touch on earlier?
I don't think so. That was a good break, though.
Cool.
Fun set.
Thank you again very much for joining me. I know, this has been obviously really fun for me, just having us sit down and talk cards and open boxes and reminisce our college days a little bit. Yeah. So it's always a pleasure. So with that, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at SunriseCC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.